Welcome to District 38's Voice Fusion session tonight on the importance of the Club Success Plan. I'd like to introduce our presenter tonight. Chris Velasco has been a member of Toastmasters since 2016. She is currently a member of Midday Toastmasters. She has served as a club president, vice president education, and secretary over the years. She has also been an area director and division director 2 times here in District 38. She was the club retention chair a few years ago, and is currently the administration manager. She's just recently received her second DTM as part of the Pathways program. So please welcome our presenter tonight, Chris Velasco.
Oh, thank you, Anne. I'm very excited to be talking about this subject because, yes, it's the end of the year, but it's actually the perfect time to talk about the club success plan. Now, and it's for 2 reasons. One, if you start poking around your the Club Central and you look at the club success plan that's online, all right, you will see the type of questions that are in there. And we're going to go through the whole plan, and I'm actually going to call up one, and we're going to walk through it and see how important it is. But if you start to look at the questions in there, you will realize how this is actually going to set your club up for success. Now, the club success plan, I think, goes hand in hand with the DCP. All right. Your DCP is often, compared to a report card or a health wellness check. How well is your club doing? Or is your membership number going up? Are your members getting educational goals? How's your administrative section? Are your officers doing everything that they are supposed to be doing? So yeah, that's the report card. But the club success plan, think of it as more of your syllabus. This is what is to come. And if you plan accordingly and you have all of your action items, how we're going to tackle our membership, how are we going to get people to continue in our path and get those level 4s and 5s, which some clubs, it's hard to do because people start to get tired as they go through. But working together, your officers should be able to go through that plan like a syllabus and see, all right, what are our challenges going to be? What action plans can we create? And as long as you follow those plans in place, your report card should come out on the positive side. Now, the second reason why we wanted to do this, not everyone is from District 38, which is where we are located. So I don't know if everybody knows, but next year, if your club wants to just qualify for the DCP, you have to have the club success plan, the online version. So I know a lot of people do a paper version and then they upload it. It's got to be that online version because that gets sent right over to headquarters and it is accessible to our district leaders as well. So if you want to qualify and go through and achieve the various different levels in the DCP, you need that club success plan. And if you haven't heard, there's a whole new level to the club success plan next year. The top level, if you have 25 members, not just 20, 25 members, you complete your club success plan and you get all 10 goals, you will be Smedley distinguished. So it's a new thing. There are some very competitive clubs out there, and I know they're going to be trying to get those 10 goals. Sometimes it can be hard, but this is where the collaboration of your club officers are going to pay off. And I say that I use the word collaboration purposefully because, yes, there's 7 members of your officer team, but they cannot operate in silos. They need to work together as a team. And there's certain roles that definitely work together, hand in hand. And we're going to be going through that as well. So, now one thing you're going to hear me say quite a few times here, I'm going to be referring to a community. Because Ann and I were talking and we were saying, a club. A club is just something you join, but you don't have to participate. You can just go and hang out and come home and you know what I mean? And but a community is totally different. A community is where you form relationships and you support one another. So that's the difference between a club and a community. So yes, Toastmasters has clubs, but we want you to start thinking of your club as your community. And this club success plan is helping to protect your community and helping them achieve the most that they can achieve. So let's get into this club success plan. Okay. Let's see. All right, now it's up. From your home screen, I know you're going to click on Club Central. And I'm going to explain, you may not think certain things are important, the questions, but I'm going to give you another way to think about it. All right, from a different perspective. And you may have that aha moment after you hear the different perspective that I'm going to share. So, okay, let's go in here. It's clocking. I hate when that little circle just keeps on spinning. All right, so over here, you have a choice. All right, well, you will as of July 1st, a choice between this year and next year. All right, but for right now, I can only show you the questions from this year. Now, I have, this is my club. So if you don't mind, I'm going to be referencing this quite a bit. All right. You're going to click on the plan what you want to start. All right. Because this is just in case it is on the action list. You want to make sure this little triangle is on the plan. So let's just look. There's 6 components. Committee values. That's your club officers. Administration. All right. The basic foundation of your club. Training. Education. Major. Contributing members. Okay. Now, the committee values. Let's start going through this. When you go into, again, it's clocking, so I'm just going to keep on talking. When you go into committee values, all right, what are your club executive committee values? You know what I found when I was division director and district, the area director? Everybody wrote the club mission in this in this space, but all of our communities are different. We have clubs with like 60 members in it, and they want to empower their members. Our club corporate club of the year was a new club, and they received President's Distinguished in their first year. We were like shocked because this group of women, they all belong to the same sorority. All right. They're members all over the United States, which is why they're 60 strong. And they have another location that's going to be signing up. So that's another 20 plus members. So their club values are going to be different than another club that's smaller and maybe moms that are preparing to go back into the workforce. Your values are different, your goals are different. So this one club mission that you may want to put in here really doesn't describe what your club is all about. So what are the values of everyone? Do you as officers really want to help every single person in your community become the best person that they can be? Do you want to give them the necessary tools to get a promotion, get a new job, get a job, to be able to communicate better in their community, maybe at their place of worship? They want to be able to give back to their community, but they can't speak in public. That's your committee values, putting yourself out there to benefit all of your members in your community. All right. How will decisions be made? This is an interesting one. All right. Now, my club said, okay, well, we're going to be making decisions by discussion, consensus, or majority vote. But, and this is why next year I'm going to be talking to everyone to have them rethink this. You want to empower your officers. Your VPE, according to Toastmasters, should be creating your meetings. Have a theme, make sure all the roles are done, be sitting with their members to make sure they're moving in their path, getting a mentor, all that kind of stuff. So if they need to make decisions, do you want this to go into a vote of everybody? Or are you going to empower your officers to be able to make decisions within their role and for the good of everyone else? That's kind of thing should be in here as well. Because when you say, oh, we all have to agree, you're kind of telling people you may not be good enough in this role to make your own decisions. So we'll help you make your decisions. To me, that's a little insulting. Empower your officers. If they're brand new at the job, SAA or a treasurer or even club secretary, they should have a mentor, even as a club officer, helping them along. But you want this to state everyone will make decisions within their role, but for the good of all of the club, and anything that may cross over into someone else's lane, we're going to make those decisions together. Like member orientation. In my old club, I is VPE and the VPM, we did them together. I didn't want to do it all alone, and he didn't want to do it all alone. So we partnered together. He talked about how to choose a path, and he gave an overview of the whole Toastmasters website, where they can find things like the videos, so they could become more comfortable with vocal variety, body language, all that stuff. I brought them through and 2 pathways and how to navigate. So we did that together. We didn't get everybody's permission to do that. We did that on our own. And that's one of the partnerships in our community that worked extremely well. So, how do you resolve differences? This you got to think about. I was a member of a club where we actually had a member that was totally disruptive, always interrupted people in a speech, telling people how to do their role. We all sat down and we had to have a talk to find out how we were going to address this, who was going to be the one to talk to him and stuff like that. So, but for that, we did it collectively. And it was the best thing. And he wasn't as embarrassed because only one person approached him. We didn't all corner him after a meeting and said, hey, you got to cut it out. So really think about the differences of opinion that you can have and be a little bit more robust here. And it also proves that you are working together as a team. And it's not all one person dictating everything, because we do have clubs like that. How will the officers be held accountable? You know, we do have some club officers that they're in name only. Not that the other officers thought it was going to be name only, but they ended up name only. I had a treasurer that never had the time. So the rest of us carried the load and we had to, toe the line for them. So if we had discussed this as a group, we would have known, well, what steps should we take? Should we just find a new person to replace them? Or do we continue throughout the year to do her job? So when you are doing this plan, please set up a Zoom or an in-person meeting for all of your officers and do it together. A lot of these questions in here are very important to get everyone's consensus. So don't just have your president fill it out and then people sign it and that's it. No, you have to all sit down and agree, especially because some of the questions are going to get a little bit harder. And you can't have one person making the decision of how much time and effort somebody else is going to have to put into things. All right. So that was your committee values. And that's like the basis. Now, the administration part, here's where we start getting into the nitty-gritty of things. It's going to ask about moment of truth. Okay. Oh, all right. The assigned responsible party. All right. Now, when it comes to dues renewal, okay, usually it's the treasurer. But like I said, what if your treasurer is out? What if they're in name only? We do have members that they had to go out of the country. Okay. They got called away because of a sick parent or something like that. Multiple people in here. All right. You can even have all of your officers listed in here. And think about it. Your club president opens up the meeting. They can put a reminder out. Your VPE, all right, plans the club meetings. So they can do a review of where you are in the DCP points. and point out that that one little line for membership dues, why it's there. Okay. Then your VPM should be double checking to make sure everybody's happy with their membership and they're getting something out of it, as well as your VPE. Depending on how many members your club has, you do need maybe 2 people to do a little check-in with your members. Your VPPR, well, they could create a flyer. Don't forget to pay your membership dues. We want to qualify for the incentive, if your district is having one. Put all that information in a flyer and then have your club secretary email it out to all your members. All right. And then your SAA can also hand out a copy or have one up on the screen if you're online only, a copy of that flyer. So every member will see that. And it's not just one person's responsibility. Yes, the treasurer is going to follow up individually with everybody, but this should be a team effort because you're all officers. This is your community. Protect your community. Okay. Okay. What current obstacles does your club have in achieving the administrative goals? I have to tell you, there's only 2 administrative goals. And that's to submit your club officers' names on time. So that's before June 30th. And to pay the dues on time. Only 8 members have to pay their dues on time. I don't know what excuse, what reason a club would have for not being able to reach those 2 goals. I would be interested to hearing from members here today. Have anybody been part of a club and they did not? Amy,
Hi,
come off
Chris.
mute.
Hi
Yeah.
there. I'm not part of a club that did this, but I heard this in the division that
Okay.
there was a new officer, multiple new officers who didn't know about it. And I guess once I mentioned, hey, you need to be doing this, they were clueless, surprised, whatever you want to say. So I think that maybe they didn't have the chance to go to training yet, or whatever the case may be. That's one situation. And the other situation about paying the dues is if it's happens to be a very small club that's struggling, they may have trouble getting, maybe they have 11 members. So they may have trouble getting 8 to pay by that date. Those are the 2 of the possible scenarios I have seen where we can just encourage those clubs.
Right. And okay, so let's take your second scenario. Sometimes the treasurer doesn't start informing their club members until the month of, all right, the month that they're due. So September and March. And for some people, they're following a budget and they may need more notice. So lesson to everybody, start telling your people 2 or 3 or 2.5 months in advance. This is when we're going to need your dues. That's one thing. Encourage your member, sign up for a year. All right. We have that option now. So you could just pay for the whole year and you don't even have to worry about it. One little hint though, have them do that in September. Okay. Because then your April one, which the DCP is always based on, your April 1st membership, they're already going to be paid. Okay. So try and shift your goals as a club so that your members have more than enough time. Now, as club admin and Amy, we kind of had this information online. I sent an email to every member in our district that did not have their dues paid by April 21st. So that's 3 weeks late. They only had a week left. And before clubs would start hitting that list that goes up to headquarters. And so I heard from so many clubs, oh, I wasn't told. Who do I pay? How do I pay? So that is your club officers not communicating, your area directors sending messages out, informational, how-tos. If you have to, break it down. Step 1, log in. Step 2, do this, okay? And division directors, make sure you should be copied on all of those emails just to make sure that information is being distributed to every single member. And when it comes to something like dues, area directors don't have to send that only to their officers. They can send it to every member that they are responsible for. So encourage that. Now, the first situation, now it escaped me, Amy.
I said like to put the officers in. They don't understand the timeline, or they are unfamiliar
Yes.
with that. So they find that out and they're like, what are you talking about? So that's
Right.
unfamiliarity, maybe a new officer taking the role, something like that. I've seen
Right.
that a couple times.
And that is your officer training.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
Now, some clubs only the minimum of 4 go, so the others don't. But again, if you have communication through your area directors, okay, during the training phase, like comes July 1st, make sure that treasurer goes to the very first training. Don't let them go to wave 2. All right, have them go to the first one, because their deliverable, their first one is coming up pretty soon. And comes August, they should be telling everybody about the dues already. So again, it's officer training. It comes down to communication, and training. So, but that's all that I found too. But again, it's something that could be easily fixed. It just takes a little bit of effort. But those of you that are here today, you can nip it in the bud right away. And if you go to your officer training, spread the news. Okay. All right. So, what action items will be necessary to achieve this? So, you can put a lot of different things down here. And like I said, when it comes to the dues, just make your treasurer accountable. Your action plan can include, our president is going to put it in their opening remarks. Our VPE is going to do a presentation. All those different examples that I gave of every club officer, okay, to push the narrative about please pay your dues on time, can be included here as an action item. All right. And then as far as the list being uploaded to for next year, your club officers, I know it says the secretary is supposed to do that, but your action item can include check with the club secretary. When will they do it? Get a date that they have to do it on time. And then your president and your VPE should be going in online and checking to make sure they didn't. If they didn't do it, reach out, not but just by email, call them. Are you going to do this today? When do you plan on doing it? If not, do it yourself. Okay. I know it's stepping on toes, but they may communicate back, oh my God, I have the flu. I can't get my head off the pillow, or I'm swamped at work. I don't have any time. Communication. You may find out that the club secretary can't do it on time. So have somebody else come and help them. Have a plan B or plan C to getting these two things done. Okay. So for the administrative stuff, I think it's too easy goals. But like I said, if you plan ahead and you have a plan B and plan C in place, and you're checking this during the year, I don't think it should be a problem to achieve either one of those. Now, as far as training goes, I am a huge proponent of every officer attending training both times. Okay. In our district, we have different material. So attending in the summer is going to be totally different than when you go in those winter months. It's good that you attend twice a year, plus those breakout sessions. When it comes to the second training, suppose I'm VPM, but I may think about being VPPR next year. I can choose to go to that VPPR breakout instead, just to get a little information about a position I may want to be in. This is also a great opportunity for you to invite members that are non-officers to attend training, to see what it's like to hear the message from the district about what is important this year and where we should focus on everything. So this part is super easy. Who's attending training when? And our club, we do like having all 7 officers attending both. So that's what we put down. Now, what are some ways to motivate other officers to attend training? Well, if they're an officer, they should want to attend training. They should want to be prepared to do their job. But I know not everybody does feel that way. So this is another question. If you fill this out collectively as a group, you can put all kinds of ideas in here because you're all hyped up in July and August, new officers. Wow. But comes down November, December, you're in the cold winter months. Well, that pep has, may have gone down. So how are you going to keep the motivation of your officers going to take 2 to 3 hours out of their day and go to another officer training? So put a lot of different ideas in here. Okay. And here's action items. You can add action items to put all of these things in here. Now, if you notice, they had an action item, but yet they haven't updated the status. So when you do your club success plan, check it once a month, once every other month. Your president should be keeping an eye on this just to see if there are things that you guys had brainstormed early on in the year, but now it hasn't come to fruition. Yes, there may be a total valid reason why it hasn't. Okay. But, at least you can see what did we check and what we were supposed to plan and do. Okay. Let's see. All right. Next screen. Don't you hate when this takes so long? It only happens because we're in Zoom and I'm showing you a live screen. All right. Membership. This is the good one. This is the one where a lot of clubs struggle, but it's not just your number. It's also how happy your members are. What is your community like? How do they feel? What are they thinking? All right. Where do you want to be at the end of the year? So this is, you're setting a goal for the year. And this is a good thing to do because it does keep you striving for more. Just like we go through our path and we're striving to complete those levels and complete that path. We keep on checking off everything on our list to get our DTM. We move about in our positions, our volunteer positions, in order to learn more and grow more and get that leadership experience by taking district positions as well. Now, this is, again, you got to plan this as a group. What is your plans, your club's plans to motivate its current members to renew? We're going to have dynamic meetings. We're going to keep them entertained. We're going to have fun table topics. That type of stuff. Everybody writes that stuff, but you know your community. You know, are they here because it's a social engagement? You know whether or not your community is really striving for things. Corporate clubs, my old corporate club, we had a lot of people that really want to check that off. They built their goals within pathways into their annual review so that when they achieved their levels and their manager was notified, they knew, that manager knew, wow, they're really, trying to do some professional development, improve their communication skills. They have a leadership path, etc. So they made that part of their career development, not just professional. So put a lot of different things here, but all of your members, your officers, should be putting things here. The VPE has a lot on their plate. And yes, they can plan some fantastic meetings, but the other members may have some really great ideas that the VPE hasn't thought about. So, the VPPR, what if they're really good with Canva? What if they're really good with, something else on social media? Do a workshop. I mean, it's a skill that your members may enjoy learning about, and they could do a whole workshop. You can ask people to bring their laptops and follow along. We have paint and sip parties. Well, kind of do something like that in your Toastmasters meeting. It breaks up the regular meetings and it makes it fun and interesting. So in my old corporate club, I had a lot of workshops or instructional, educational type of meetings where I was showing how the skills in Toastmasters translated to their career, okay? Or translated to being a leader in their church, their 501c3 organization, to your HOA, whatever it was. They were able to build the skills and take it outside of the club meeting. You need to know what your community wants, and then you know how to keep those meetings more interesting. How do you plan to gain new members? Well, your VPPR has to have a say in this, but your VPM, that's their sidekick. All right. You could have a VPPR that's creating these wonderful flyers, ads, social media posts, open houses. Is your VPM ready for all of this? Is your VPM, going to sit there and, schmooze all the different people? And if it's a big event, like an open house, and you have a lot of people that are RSVPing, yes, you may need other people. All right. Now, one thing I want to mention here, which I haven't seen in the years that I've been area director or division director. I have never seen in here, our SAA will be greeting all the members when they arrive at the meeting. Think about pre-COVID and when we were all in person. The SAA used to stand at that door and they would welcome everyone. And even if it's a current member, tell them, oh, I'm glad you came this week. So good to see you. You still welcome everyone with a smile. But if it's a guest, great. Come over to the table. Here, can you sign in? Here's some marketing material that you may be interested in, et cetera, et cetera. And then because the SAA needs to get back to that door, here comes that VPM swooping in. Okay. And the SAA says, here's Mike. This is our VPM. And, they're going to talk to you a little bit about the meeting and they'll help you get settled. All right. And then the SAA returns to the door. So, but again, you have to have a tag team and collaboration with your officers. But put in here that you're going to go back to the basics where that SAA is going to greet everyone. And for District 38, use your district dollars to buy some nice marketing materials. Give those marketing materials out. And what you could also do is the ones that you can't download, try and scan them, and then you can email these members that piece, just in case they happen to get lost in the car or, they fell and when they were running to the car and got wet in the rain, send them another copy online. But build in here, because notice there is an action plan, but up in here, you got to summarize it and let everybody know what your officers are going to be doing. It's not just the VPPR is going to do this and our VPE is going to plan great meetings. Your SAA and VPM are critical in this section as well. And that's why I said you need to work together and collaborate. Put all your action items separately so that some you can check off. Yes, this is done. We had our open house. We did moments of truth, et cetera, and we changed our focus, whatever it is. But you also have all those ongoing things as well. All right, come on. All right. Now, one thing when you talk about membership, also think about retaining your members. I know a lot of this is how to get new members, but you can get 10 new members. But if you lost 12 because it's just the same old thing, it's not going to help your club. So really push to get your members, your existing members, more involved. Ask them to help you with a special meeting. We had a meeting one time and it was a talk show. And we had 3 people up there and we talked about, what they were getting out of Toastmasters and how it helped them and et cetera. It was a person's project for their path, to lead a panel discussion, but we turned it kind of like into a late night talk show. And it was interesting. The audience loved it. We did have audience participation And we had two people running around with fake microphones, like Phil Donahue used to do in the audience. And they would ask a question and then we would go back. So have things like that. But when you ask your members to participate in stuff like that, it makes it more fun. And that person may decide, yeah, I'll give it another shot. I'll renew. Okay. Your member progress tool. Okay. I was shown this by Anne, and I was floored about how you can track everybody's progress and how it tracks it for you. All this on the right is what rolls up to your DCP. So, but what's here on the left is where everybody is. So now I have to tell you, the new base camp for a VPE, I don't like it. And it's because I used to be able to tell exactly where everybody was, what speech they gave within a level and and it's a little different now. But here I can see at a quick glance who's on what level. And here's a member that has more than one path. So if they're going back and forth, so if I'm in here checking how we're doing in my club success plan and marking the action plans like done, in progress, I can check here. So it's not just a VPE role. If your VPM can see this, your president can see it, every officer can see this, and they may have an idea and call you and say, you know what? I'm going to talk to Jack because he's not moving in his path and I'm really good friends with him outside of Toastmasters. So if you were going to call him, I'll take that for you. All right. And I'll see what's going on. That's really great for another officer to help you do your follow-ups with your members, to check in. Because you know what? Sometimes if your VPE isn't checking in, they may not realize someone in their family passed away. Okay. Or their house, burned. They had a fire and they lost everything. You don't know sometimes what people are going through unless you check in. And if that's not community, I don't know what is. Check in on your members, not only about their education, how are they doing? Okay, because that personal touch could be the difference between someone renewing and someone not. Okay, because there are people where they're very lonely. This is their only interaction with people. So by you checking in, it could make a huge difference in somebody's life. So here, what I was floored with is it tells you who's projected to complete a level. And this is based on, all right, there's the required speech and there's 2 electives. Well, Valu probably has his required speech done and 1 elective. So he's the closest, compared to all the other members to reach that. If anyone's going to get their DTM, all right, and your officers should all be encouraging. What can we do to help? Do you need speaking spots? Do you need to give speeches? Help them along. What projects did you do? Did you do your DTM project? How can we help you as a community? How can we help you? But you put in who is going for their DTM here. And that will roll up as well, because this can easily see the levels, but there's no, the DTM is totally different. So, but for VPEs and all members, check and see who's on what level, who's on what path. Can we check in some of the members, see how they're doing? And then the last section in here, come on. All right, contributing members. So this is just who filled out this plan. A lot. When I was division director, mostly it was the president that filled everything out, and then the officers signed their name. But look, they have, I know Joyce has two roles, so they have their people in here. Okay, everybody should have their name in here, but they contributed to the plan. So as I said, this club success plan is your syllabus. Okay, it's what is required. It's what may be in the course, what to expect. Your DCP is your report card. How you doing? Okay, are you hitting those action plan items? You know, and are they showing up as check marks in your DCP? But this is going to set the tone for the year. And I really think that in doing your club success plan, you'll be able to thoughtfully plan your community so that everyone is supported, everyone feels valued and appreciated and encouraged. And it's going to show in your membership and the goals that you've set forth in the year. Now, does anyone, I hope that, now there are other questions that are in there, and it's like moments of truth and things like that. I have to tell you, moments of truth has a bad rap. It's old, it's been around, blah, blah, blah. But I got to tell you, you can create your own version of moments of truth and get someone outside of your club or a way to submit these anonymously. You're going to hear some really honest opinions about what they think about your club. So if you can, now my community club recently did it. And, they got to hear from people, what they thought. Are they being welcome? Is it interesting? Do they feel that we're organized? All of that kind of stuff. They made up their own questions too. You can do your own version depending on your community. You know what kind of questions need to be asked. So think about it and see, it's a way for you to really hear what's being said behind your back. I want to stop there, find out if anybody has any questions. As I said, the club success plan is going to be part of that DCP next year. So, and in District 38, we're requiring that every club complete one, because you could say, there's no way we're going to qualify this year. All right. But something may change. And all of a sudden, you get 5 members to join. So you qualify. And we have clubs, they have no problem getting their educational points, but their membership is lacking. Since you never know what's going to happen, get that club success plan done. And then it'd be easy to qualify. So come off mute. I would love to hear from everyone, especially those that are outside of our district. Do you guys emphasize the club success plan, or do you find it valuable?
My name is Sarah Bell, and I'm with Arlington Nooners in District 25 in Texas. And I saw this advertised on Facebook, and our club has been President's Distinguished for the last 21 years, but we have never done the complete club success plan. And when they put it online, I've been looking at it, but I haven't been able to motivate other people. That we kind of, at our officers club, we do it informal. Okay, these are the people that are going to get their educational goals. This is what we're going to do, but it's all been very informal. And then last year I heard that they were going to require it. So I've been, looking for how to motivate people, to motivate officers to actually do it. We're a hybrid club, and we're finding it even difficult to get officers that are committed being a hybrid club.
Yes, and then that can happen. But if you still have your officer meetings, whether it's once a month or every other month, just turn one of those meetings into doing this plan. And what you can do is take screenshots of all the different screens in the plan, kind of make a long Word document out of it, okay? Or you can make your own version. Send out those questions ahead of time to all your club officers, or at least, the ones that really need collaboration, and say, look, this is what we're going to be talking about at this club officer meeting. Okay. How are we going to keep our, members motivated, and this and that? All those open answer boxes you need to work together on, and then just have your club officer meeting and do it together. So, but I understand. And how many
Well, Chris,
members are in your
Chris, I have
club?
to tell you, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just, I'm new since December, but I was just elected to VP of membership, and I can't tell you how valuable this exchange was, because I really needed to wrap my head around a lot of the goals and things that we need to do, and I wasn't quite given that with my current officers. Not that they're great people, and I love my membership, um, but just sharing your knowledge and your experience really helped me kind of understand what the goals that need to be done, and how to do it.
Mhm.
And I did take screenshots, and I tried to, like, really make sure I engaged, or like brought all that information out. So I just want to say thank you. I have to get off real quick, but I thought it was a great presentation, and I would love to hear or meet you in person someday. I don't know, because that's one of the things that we've lost a lot of, right? To be able to kind of interact personally. So thank you for your presentation, and,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I just have
I like to think about the why. I always think about, why are we doing this? And when I think about the why, it comes easy for me to do things. And that's how
Right.
I do any educational session. I tell you the why. And usually then all of a sudden it's like, got it.
Right on.
Thank
You all
you.
have a blessed day. I'll talk
You
to you
too.
later. Hopefully see you again someday.
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Thank you. It is 8 o'clock, Chris. Does
If
anybody
anybody
have
wants to
any,
stay on just to ask
are you,
questions, they definitely can. Yep.
okay, so we will continue this, but if you have to go, feel free to go. But we are delighted that everybody was able to attend this session, and I think you learned a lot from Chris. She is a powerful presenter, and she brings quite a bit of knowledge. And I would like to reiterate one thing. She did say that clubs do have to fill this out. It is a living document, and that's where the beginning of your club's community success begins. You need a plan. And we need to engage our members more to let them know that it is a plan, and that we need them to be working on their own We need them to be working on their own why, right? We hear often, well, I don't care about accolades. I don't care about recognition. Sometimes we need encouragement to continue because your own self-development is not easy. I've been in Toastmasters since 2015, and it's not easy facing your own demons, right? Facing your own communication and your own leadership styles. And that's where everybody stops at that level too. They don't want to do those projects. You don't want to face yourself. And so we have a theme this year, fearlessly forward. Face your fears fearlessly forward and do that and find out about yourself, and you can be a better person. I like to tell the story that when I joined Toastmasters, and when I took that self-assessment for the first time, my leadership style was bureaucratic. Didn't surprise me. That's the way I grew up. You do as you're told. You work for people. I went to Catholic school. I worked to Sears, Roebuck, and their accounting department. It's like just going to Catholic school, very strict. You didn't question anything. You did as you were told, and you did it. So when I became president for the first time, it's like, I don't understand your problem. There's no freedom here. This is just the protocol. This is what we do. This is the way you got to do it. I had to learn to become more of a blended leadership to be relatable to people. And that's what Toastmasters teach us. And that's why it's important to get your members engaged at the beginning. Take this club success plan to them in your meetings and let them know that, let's start having membership accountability this year. Membership accountability is coming to a meeting and taking a role. It's similar to what Chris said in the beginning. We're a community. And as a community, there's commitment to one another. Let's start bringing that concept into our members and maybe start changing the way they think. This isn't just come when I feel like it. Well, if you don't come, we miss you. We need your support. We need you to fill a meeting role. So start thinking about that. I'm going to turn it back to Chris for questions and answers, and I'm going on mute. So Chris, if anybody...
And Anne, one thing, when you said you could bring the club success plan to the members, that is what Moments of Truth is for. But you can ask your members in an email or hand out slips of paper in your meeting and say, what would you like to see at our meeting? What do you think we're not doing? What would you like to see? They may have some ideas that none of the 7 officers are thinking about. So ask your members and then incorporate some of those ideas, because if your members are giving you ideas, they want something different. They want a change. And that's how you may get them to renew. And we all need to retain our members. Okay, so Lori asked, does member pathways tracking under education update automatically as the members complete their progress, or does it have to be updated manually? Lori, it's all connected. So when that VPE clicks on that, yes, I'm approving the level 2 completion, that sends it over to the club success plan, and the club success plan also updates the DCP. So yes, the VPE role has gotten easier. And that's why I said, like, if you don't want to look up somebody's speeches and stuff like that in Basecamp, you could do it super easy on your club success plan by saying, okay, Sally did get, her level 2. All right, I was on vacation as VPE, so she must have completed, and the secretary or president maybe, approved her. Because remember, 3 people can approve these. So it's a way to double checking all that stuff. But yes, it got very easy. Abu Baker, you want my email?
Yes, people are asking for your email to be able to reach out to you with questions. So would you be willing to share it in chat for them?
Yes.
And then they will have your email?
There you go. All right. And is that why you raised your hand?
Yes, and just to let them know that this is being recorded and everybody who registered will be receiving a copy of the recording. But just save the chat in case there's questions or comments in there that you would, that you want to refer to later. But everybody will get a copy of the video as well. So you can have this as, you'll get the link because we posted on the District 38 YouTube channel. You'll get a link and you'll have a chance to rewatch the video. Back to you, Chris.
Bonnie, you're from another district. Let's see, Pat Costello from another district. Does your district emphasize the club success plan, or do you think they're going to be doing it this year?
No, we have been all
Yeah?
along. Yep. We do it on a Google Doc.
Oh, well, now you have to do it online. So, so that may be different for some of the clubs in your district. And there were more screens in there, not a lot. I just went over the big ones that I really wanted to emphasize where your club officers should be working together before to fill those answers out, because you really do have to work together as a team in order to reach the goals. You can't just say, that's your job, and then wash your hands of helping out. No, help each other out. Your SAA and VPM, like I said, working together. Your treasurer isn't the only one responsible for collecting dues. Your VPPR, when they want to plan something, they have to make sure they have the support of not only the other club members, but just the membership. If you're going to do a mini meeting, you need people to take those roles. So they need to get buy-in. Okay. Abu Baker. Yes, you have your hand raised. And I hope I'm pronouncing your name right.
Yes, you did well. 90%.
What's your question?
All right, thank you so much. It was a wonderful presentation. I'm so happy to be here. I wanted to ask, I've just been elected a division director and I have expanded the clubs. So I had an idea. I just wanted you to let me know what you think. I wanted to do the division success plan along with the division leaders and the club excos so that they can see how it's done and then it's cascaded to the clubs. Now, my question is, do I need all the club officers in the same room to do this? Or by cascading to the presidents and VPs, it could go down to the rest of the club officers?
Well, you could do it various different ways. It depends on how big your division is and how big the areas are. So, something like that, you could teach all of your area directors, and then they could go out to all their clubs and hold, mini training meetings. You guys can incorporate this into the district officer training. Or what you can do is, as your division director, once a month, offer, to be online and teaching people how to do this. Or if you meet all in person, you go club to club, but that's going to take some time. So it really depends on, the situation. We have some areas in our district. They're very remote and very spread apart. So for that area, those area directors and the one division director, a Zoom meeting would be best for that. There's another division, everybody's clustered and within like 10 miles of each other. So it'd be really easy for that area director to hit all the clubs within a week. So it kind of really depends.
All right,
You could
thank you so
always
much.
you could always do a demo online, post it to like YouTube, and then send the link. And then that way anytime if they're struggling completing it, they have questions midway, they can refer to your recording.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Well, just to let you know, District 38, as I said, I'll be the new education chair, and I'm going to be reporting up to Ann Golden as the program quality director. We have these voice fusion sessions throughout the year, and I'll be planning them this year. I'll be hosting quite a few of them. So I hope that you keep, if you haven't already, like our district Facebook page, because we put all of our ads on the Facebook page. And Ann's going to let me know how she spreads the word to other districts as well. But we hope to have a lot of great new content coming your way, and then some of the popular hits coming back to educate our club officers and just to motivate our members along the way. My email was placed in the chat, so if you have any questions, just send me an email. And if it requires us to huddle up and get on a Zoom call, walk you through anything, I will be more than happy to do that. I love Toastmasters, and it's a pleasure for me to give back to other members, clubs, and districts. So
Thank you.
everyone, have a great night. I truly appreciate you attending, and I'll see you next time, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.